Are being written off by some and written about by others. Not since the Montreal Canadiens of Toe Blake in 1956 through 60 has a team won 5 straight Stanley Cups. This year's Islanders team seems as determined as ever, as evidenced by last Saturday night's emotional victory over Washington, a game that brought back the hunger. The hockey community seems reluctant to give the Islanders the benefit of the doubt, but the Islander fans seem confident. The New York Rangers are also a determined group, especially when it comes to their country cousins. Their strength and hopes lie in goal. A hot Glen Hanlon can be the difference between an Islander collapse and a Ranger upset. Statistically, the Islanders have the edge in most major categories, something that may or may not be a telltale sign in this series. This month's Inside Sports even profiles the categories between the city dwellers and suburbanites. We're at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, Long Island, where tonight it's Game 1 of the Patrick Division Semifinals as the New York Rangers meet the Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders. Next on USA Sports. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nassau Coliseum. I'm Jim Hughson, sitting in for Al Troutwig, who's on another assignment tonight. If experience means anything, the Islanders should wrap up this series in short order. They have 7 players with over 100 games playoff experience, while the New York Rangers have only 3 with over 50 games. If the season series means anything, we're in for a dandy. The New York Rangers won 4 of the 7 games, and 5 of them were decided by 1 goal. If history means anything, the Islanders have the edge again. In 5 previous playoff meetings, the Islanders have won 4. The Rangers' only victory was in '79 when they went to the Stanley Cup Final. They were the last team to knock the Islanders out of a playoff. Now let's meet the rest of our USA Sports crew. With the play-by-play tonight, Al Albert, and our color commentator is Gary Green. Everybody's excited and very positive about this playoff series, and perhaps for the locals, if there's one disappointing part of this series, it's that it's the first series and not the last. The New York Islanders and the New York Rangers in the first round of Stanley Cup Playoffs in 1984, live from New York.
Memorial Coliseum, and tonight the drive for 5 begins for the New York Islanders, trying to become just the second team in NHL history to win 5 straight Stanley Cups. And Gary Green, tonight they start their first round best-of-5 series going up against their arch rival, the New York Rangers.
Herb Brooks is going to have to perform another miracle on ice in order to beat this Islander team. Rangers very much the underdog, even though during the course of the regular season play, they won 4 games to the Islanders 3. The playoffs is a new season.
And now everybody's standing, and we have the singing of the national anthem. The referee in tonight's game is Bruce Hood, and the linesmen Ryan Bosak, Gerard Gauthier. Dan Marawelli is the alternate referee in tonight's game. In goal for the Rangers, 26-year-old Glen Hanlon. After 3 teams, nearly 7 seasons, he goes into the playoffs as a starter. And he will be going up against Mr. Playoff, 33-year-old Billy Smith, last year's playoff MVP, considered by many as the greatest playoff goalie in NHL history. And Billy Smith giving up over 3 goals a game for only the second time in the last 10 seasons. But Gary, in the last 5 games, he has won 4, tied 1, given up just 9 goals. He has geared himself to this moment right now.
He's not afraid to admit that he's a money goaltender. Watch him in playoffs.
And the playoffs are underway. The Islanders in the home white. And it is an offside against the Rangers. Also tonight in the Stanley Cup, Game 1 in the Patrick Division, it is Philadelphia against Washington. In the Adams Division, Quebec at Buffalo, and Montreal at Boston. In the Norris, it's Detroit at St. Louis, Chicago at Minnesota, and in the Smythe, Winnipeg at Edmonton, Vancouver at Calgary. The first night of the playoffs. The Rangers bring it in. Osborne checked off the play. And it's Dennis Potvin for the Rangers, the captain who's been enjoying a sensational season for New York, for the Islanders. And here is Potvin. Potvin over the line, lets one go. He's right in on front, and it's blocked by Beck right in the crease. As Potvin testing Hanlon right off the bat. Anders Hedberg tries to get it out, but Persson traps his man, and Potvin goes out. Being hawked back there, the Islanders coming out. Just starting here, the Nassau Coliseum Game 1, best 3 out of 5 between these two crosstown rivals. The Rangers and the Islanders. The Rangers had the upper hand this year, winning the season series 4-3. Bossy in the corner. Tries to put it in front as he is knocked out of the play by Mikko Leninen. And now the Rangers start out. Ken-Erik Anderson on the right wing, beaten to the puck by Dave Langevin. And now at center ice, Pat LaFontaine, number 16 for the Islanders. Anderson takes a bump by Bourne. They jam it along the boards, and we will have a face-off, and everybody converges along the boards.
Well, right at the center ice line, we see number 26, Dave Langevin. Very unfortunate that Dave's father passed away on Sunday. Dave was not expected to play tonight, but Al Arbour told me before the game that Mrs. Langevin wanted Dave to play in this game tonight for his father. Our condolences go out to the Langevin family. There we see that last opportunity. Dennis Potvin, just a almost sure goal there, but Barry Beck coming back, number 5 for the Rangers, saving the day for the Rangers. Not a very good way to start things out. Hanlon looking a little shaky on that first.
High the face-off at center ice, Mike Allison, number 14 for the Rangers. Pat LaFontaine, the rookie who joined the Islanders after the Olympics. And now the Rangers trying to start it up. James Patrick, who played on the Canadian Olympic team, number 3 for the Rangers, the defenseman, gets it ahead to Allison. Allison goes in the slot, puts it in front, and Billy Smith sticks it aside. Anderson, his pass in front, and Billy Smith comes out as Boutilier and Allison congesting in front. And Gary, I think both teams want to place their men right in the crease.
No surprise that Herb Brooks would like to have Billy Smith's concentration taken off somewhat. You see that Mike Allison, just on that last play, he went straight for Smith. I think Brooks is thinking there is if Billy Smith can somehow lose his concentration, be distracted by someone right in on top of him like Allison, then perhaps the wingers will get a better scoring opportunity.
Barry Beck plays it into the corner. Jonsson is tied up. And now the Islanders try to come out. Ron Greshner for the Rangers. Intercepted. Pat Flatley, the shot deflected off of Beck's stick and into the crowd. The Rangers, who faded at the end of the season. In their last 18 games, played under 500, 8 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie, but that should not take away from the kind of season the Rangers had. They finished with more wins, 42 of them, more points, 93, than they've had in the last decade. And they spent 55 days, 2 months in first place in the Patrick Division. And they go up against the Islanders. The Islanders have had an injury-plagued season, but still they fought through that and won 50 games. Only one other team, Edmonton, has won more than the Islanders this year. Hide the face-off in the Ranger end. It is Reijo Ruotsalainen, the slick skating Finn, behind the net. Plays it across to Beck. Barry Beck, booed here at the Coliseum, will not approach what the Ranger fans will do to Potvin once this series shifts to Madison Square Garden. Ruotsalainen backhands it ahead. It is Peter Sundstrom. Tonelli mucking. And it is taken away now, the Rangers with the puck. Sundstrom plays it ahead to LaRouche. Goes across to Eriksson. And he scores! The Rangers strike first. LaRouche, Sundstrom, and Eriksson bring it down. And Jan Eriksson fires it past Billy Smith.
Well, take a look at this one. You'll see number 20, Jan Eriksson. He just blasts that puck. Billy Smith is way out of his net, cutting down that angle, as he should. But Eriksson just gets off a blistering drive from the top of the circle, right along the ice. It beats Smith cleanly. over on the glove side. Just a heck of a way for the Rangers to get started in this game tonight. A big goal is usually, first goal, usually a big one.
Erickson has scored 5 goals all season. And the Rangers strike first, and they lead the Islanders 1-0 at 2:49 from Larouche and Sundstrom. The Islanders knowing full well that the Rangers coming in looking to steal one of these 2 games with games 3 and possibly 4 at the Coliseum. Bossy gets the shot off, and Hanlon had some problems with it. Some feel that the Rangers may have a better chance in a short series, in a 5-game series. Certainly, especially if they able to steal 1 game here. So the Rangers lead the Islanders 1-0. We have played 3.5 minutes, and the Rangers on the attack 2-on-1. Tablet, the shot save made by Billy Smith as Osborne was veering in on the right wing. Greg Gilbert, young man for the Islanders, who stepped onto this line with Bossy and Trottier and had a 30-goal season. Tablet sends it out. Bob Bourne for the Islanders. Ahead to Boutilier. He rifles it in, so the Islanders looking to put the puck on net against Hanlon. And now the Rangers regrouping. Ron Greshner checked by LaFontaine. Beck winds it around, and Don Maloney is there, but being checked by the Islanders, Ken Morrow comes all the way in. Greshner off the board. Stolen by Duane Sutter. Sutter tries to put it in front, but knocked away by Maloney. And it comes to center ice. Anderson runs into his own man, Allison. And we have a whistle. We'll pause now. The Stanley Cup Playoffs coming your way on USA. Out of town in the first period at Washington, the Flyers and the Capitals all knotted up at 1 apiece. Right here with 15:33 to go in the first period. The Rangers lead the Islanders by the score of 1-0. For the Rangers, it is Rogers, number 17, for Mikko Lennon and Bob Brooke, the rookie. Also played on the United States Olympic team out of Yale. As both teams now going with the 4th lines. Boutilier sends Rogers flying, but the Rangers were in offside again. The Rangers with a line of Butch Goring along with Kallur and Gillies. Let's take a look at that hit again.
Well, watch Mike Rogers, number 17. He just gets leveled by number 4, Boutilier. For the Islanders, Boutilier has shown in the last month especially that he wants to play for this Islanders team badly. He doesn't want to be in and out of the lineup.
Mikko Lennon, who had 14 assists in the last 15 games for the Rangers, played a good portion of this season down in the minor leagues in Tulsa, but brought up during the late stages and really produced. Ken Morrow shoots it out. It comes to center ice. Rangers 1 and the Islanders nothing. James Patrick, who has stepped right in. He could call him the Ken Morrow of the Rangers, coming off the Canadian Olympic team. Gillies wheels away, trying to get it out. And now Goring for the Islanders with Bob Brooke right on him. Goring winding it up. Puts it on the stick of Kallur as Gillies is dumped. And we have a whistle.
Clark Gillies, a big man out there for the Islanders, but he got dumped and dumped cleanly right at the blue line, causing an offside. And that was done by Bob Brooke, number 13 for the Rangers, playing on the right wing side. He looked very strong in that situation.
5.5 minutes gone by in this first period. Brent Sutter will face off against Pierre Larouche. Larouche, who last year scored 18 goals for Hartford, had 48 this season with the Rangers. Going down to the last game looking for the 50 mark. Only one Ranger has done that, Vic Hadfield. Hyde Erickson, who has scored the goal. Pass on the right wing to Peter Sundstrom. He is bodied, sandwiched by 2 Islanders. It comes out to Russalainen, and Billy Smith goes out to lay it for his defense. And now the Islanders with Pat Flatley racing to the Ranger line. Hits Sutter, looking for Flatley again, but he is tied up by Sundstrom. The Islander fans looking for a penalty. Brent Sutter out to the point, but Langevin has to chase it back to center ice. 13:50 remaining in this first period. It is Tonelli over the line. He has Brent Sutter. Sutter blocked by Beck. Sutter has been the big goal scorer for the Islanders against the Rangers with 5 goals in the 6 games that he played this year. With a score of 1-0 Rangers, we'll be right back.
There you see Brent Sutter, number 21, and Dave Langevin, number 26, coming in and leveling a hard check. We can expect a lot of hard checks, body contact throughout this series.
The Islanders with their top line on there. Trottier with Bossy and Gilbert trying to come up with a tying goal. 13:25 remaining in this first period at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And the Islanders cannot keep it in. Langevin, who takes Persson takes a hit. And he felt that the whistle had blown, a late hit, and now Steve Richmond comes in. Richmond and Potvin. Richmond is out there. You notice the only guys he is looking at are Potvin, Bossy, and Trottier. He is a man on a mission for the Rangers.
If you're going to take somebody out the lineup, one of those 3 guys is the obvious one to attack. I think Stefan Persson was a little upset. It was almost like in football when you tackle the quarterback after the play, and that's exactly why Stefan Persson was upset.
Well, for our local systems, we'll pause now. Stanley Cup on USA.
Rangers penalty to number 41, Steve Richmond.
First in their first game against Quebec, 1-0 Buffalo. That is in the second period. Slashing penalties to both Richmond and Potvin at 6:41. So they're off each for 2 minutes. And on the screen, Bossy shot whistles wide. Comes in front, Trottier, and he is taken out by Laidlaw. Hanlon knows that he's going to have quite a bit of company in his crease tonight.
We can see a little of that company right here. There you see right in front of the net area. Trottier desperately trying to take a whack at that puck. Hanlon down on his knees. I'm surprised that Trottier and Bossy have not played as much in this first period. They have really only been on the ice about twice. And they are going off once again. Herb Brooks, I know, had full intentions of making sure that Trottier was shadowed tonight. Didn't matter to him who it was, but one player on each line had been assigned to shadow Trottier if they're out there against him. Whether or not Al Arbour is choosing some other type of strategy, keeping Trottier and Bossy off the ice is something one wouldn't expect.
Well, with a little more ice area now, Arbour has his 2 speedsters in Bourne and Kallur up front. Langevin keeps it in. There's Kallur circling on the screen, sends it wide. Ruotsalainen, who could also fly. Persson tries to keep it in. And it's Mike Allison to Ruotsalainen, and he has some room. Trying to walk around. Puts it in front, and nobody was there. Beck keeps it in. The shot by Anderson, a heavy shot that Smith deflects into the corner. Minute 17 to go on the dual penalties. Langevin to Bourne and Kallur. Now is Kallur. Bourne from behind is held by Anderson. No call made by Bruce Hood. And there's the reaction from the partisan Islander crowd. Although there are a few Ranger fans sneaking in here. The Islanders now on the attack. Bossy. 1 man to beat Laidlaw as he forces the shot in. 50 seconds to go, and the penalties to Richmond and Potvin. Patrick brings it out. Laidlaw flips it ahead. And now the Islanders with Trottier and Bossy on the ice. 39 seconds in the dual penalties to each club. Trottier scrambling. Allison takes him out. The fans yelling for a holding. Bruce Hood cannot see it because he was pinned up against the boards. Don Maloney, the long shot. So the Rangers taking every opportunity to put the puck on goal. 11:39 left in the first period. 1-0. The Rangers lead as Eriksson struck at 2:49 of this first period. Hanlon, who was bothered by a bad back, missed 5 games at the end of the season, came back for the final game Sunday and shut out Hartford. His first shutout in 3 seasons, the Rangers' lone shutout of the year. And he says that he is ready and able and fine for the playoffs. The Rangers know how much a hot goaltender could mean in a 3 out of 5 game set. The long shot at Hanlon looked hot there, trying to gather in the rebound. And it is now pulled in by a Ranger. We could see a penalty shot here. Ruotsalainen, delay of the game at 9:01. And one of the concerns, Gary, for the Islanders this year has been their power play, which has been very weak of late. They've scored only once in the last 15 attempts at the end of the season.
Al, I talked to Lorne Henning before the game about that power play problem. Lorne Henning is the assistant coach to Al Arbour. He said that it's not their forwards' fault. He feels that the problem lies within their point, that they have not been quick, haven't been moving the puck around as smoothly as they are capable of. A lot of that will come right now with Potvin and Persson back in the point. Those two guys, they've had lots of experience. Potvin leading this year, this team in goals on the power play. Watch Tonelli, he'll be in front of the net.
And the Islanders, their first power play, they trail by 1 with Bossy and Trottier on the bench. Potvin, a fired shot. And Hanlon sticks his ground. On it is Persson. Starting it up for the Islanders. Onto the stick of Tonelli. Tonelli takes the route along the boards. Stays with the puck. Flies by Beck. And we have a penalty coming up. And it is called against the Islanders. Pat LaFontaine. So there goes that power play.
LaFontaine was trying to run a pick play. John Tonelli, number 27, with full possession of the puck. There's Tonelli. You'll see him with possession. But LaFontaine, you'll see just to the right of your screen, he dumped Barry Beck, in fact. Interference was the call on LaFontaine, number 16, in the penalty box. That nullifies the power play opportunity for the Islanders.
So at 9:24, LaFontaine goes off. 1:37 remaining in Ruotsalanen's penalty. So the teams now will skate 4-on-4. 1-0, the Rangers lead. An early goal by Eriksson to give the Rangers the first goal. Remember, the Rangers beat the Islanders in their season series this year, 4-3. Now a break. Tonelli fires the shot, but Kreshner got back out a piece of it. Langevin puts on the brakes. Looking for Potvin as he is bumped off the play by Raju. Tonelli staying with it, digging it out, in front, saved by Hanlon, as Brent Sutter was right there. Persson back to Sutter. He fires, another save by Hanlon. Potvin sticks it into the corner, it is loose. Kreshner knocked away by Tonelli, but it is cleared. Rogers, one man back is Persson. Rogers lets it fly. 39 seconds to go in the Ranger penalty, a minute to go in the Islander penalty. 9.5 left in this first period. Rangers 1 and the Islanders nothing. Potvin searching with Pierre Larouche right on his back. Butch Goring, and it's deflected by Larouche deep in the Rangers zone. So Hanlon, who has been tested already here in this first period, and he has stood the test extremely well. Tommy Laidlaw hits the Islander line, drops it for Larouche. Goes back the other way to Laidlaw. And Smith stops it. The Rangers will have a man advantage now for 23 seconds as Ruotsalainen is back on the ice. Power play for the Rangers for 20 seconds. But Morrow sends it ahead to Goring. Goring, who has 5 shorthanded goals this year. Look to line up the screen, and now the Rangers with an assault with 10 seconds left on the power play. Hedberg leaves it for Pavlich, who has been the red-hot Ranger the last 20 games. Pavlich right in the slot. Great shot. But Smith makes the save and dies out after it. It's still loose in front. As the penalties are over, teams are at equal strength. Smith does not have his stick, but the Islanders get it out. It is Kallur on the right wing. The punching check by Barry Beck. The steal in front. Kallur the backhand. Save made on the splits by Hanlon. And he covers up on LaFontaine's shot. So the Islanders putting the pressure on, but Hanlon so far has closed them off. And it comes all the way down. An icing is called against the Rangers with 7:56 to go. Islanders putting on all the pressure, but the Rangers lead 1-0. As we pause now for our local cable system. Rangers 1-0 over the Islanders with 7:56 left in this first period.
The Rangers, Glen Hanlon, as you had talked about earlier, I thought he was a little shaky in the first few shots, and then he seemed to get his confidence. Islanders kept testing him, and that's the best thing for a goaltender as long as he can stop those pucks.
Islanders are going to try to crowd him in front as Gilbert looks to get it out. Try to take away his view, and they know he'll go down in front. Gilbert and Hanlon staying up on that one. So Gilbert almost wraps around and sneaks it in.
No tougher place for a goaltender than try to stop the puck when you don't know where it's coming from. Here, number 17, Greg Gilbert, comes from around behind the net. Hanlon thought that he was coming to his left, went that way, and then moved back on the right just in time, but that puck actually bounced off of his skate and then out of the crease area. Close call for the Rangers. They still hold this 1-0 lead.
Well, we've played a little over half this first period already. The Islanders have taken 12 shots on Glen Hanlon. The Rangers also getting off 8. Herb Brooks watching on and knowing how much the goaltender means to him in this series. Glen Hanlon, certainly a key for the Rangers. And right now he has the Islanders blank after facing 12 shots for the Islanders. Putting on the heat. Don Maloney tries to get it out, but it's kept in by Jonsson. Richmond back on the ice, pins his man. Hanlon comes out. Again, there is Richmond diving all over the place. Mike Allison, who likes to use the body. And the Rangers get it out to center ice. Jonsson with Langevin on the back line. It is Duane Sutter, Bob Bourne, and LaFontaine for the Islanders. If you recall last year, it was Bob Bourne and the Sutter brothers, Duane and Brent, who were the high-scoring lines in the playoffs. They accumulated 70 points in 20 games. LaFontaine digging with Patrick, the two former Olympians going at one another. And there's the whistle, and we'll have another face-off.
On the Islanders bench. That's easier said than done, though. Islanders with big, strong wingers. They're tough to penetrate the zone.
Pat Flatley is placed along the boards. Comes in front. Still with the puck. Showing you his strength. Flatley still has it. Gets a shot off. And a great save. Rebound. Hits the outside of the post. It comes in front as Hanlon is decked. And now a whistle and a penalty against the Rangers. What action in front of the Ranger net. You're watching the Stanley Cup Playoffs, and this is the USA Network.
For the Rangers goes to the penalty box. 2 minutes for holding is the call. You'll see Flatley, number 8, having a good opportunity. 21, Brent Sutter, just having an excellent opportunity. But look at this. The puck was all alone out in front of the net area, but just off to the right of your screen, you can see that John Tonelli goes down. The reason he went down was all to do with number 4, Ron Greshner.
And that shot by Brent Sutter almost tipped in by a Ranger. 1-0. Rangers hold on. 6:24 to go in the first. The Islanders with a power play. Did he keep it in? No. Looked like Persson had it straddled on the blue line, but it'll have to come out.
Now you can see a little of that action between Potvin and Persson. That's what Al Arbour wants them to do, is move the puck quickly between. Meanwhile, Herb Brooks is going to try and apply as much pressure. He figures that when the Rangers are killing a penalty right now, their best bet is to move quickly on the Islanders, force them to move the puck around as much as they can without shooting. Hopefully, they'll cough it up.
Rangers just about in the middle of the pack, 10th in penalty killing in the NHL. And Don Maloney fires it down. Greshner went off at 13:36 for holding. We have 6 minutes on the nose remaining in period number 1. The Islanders on their 4th defense of the Stanley Cup championship. And now going up against their arch rivals, the Rangers. It is Bossy. Back to Potvin. He fires, save, rebound, Trottier. And it deflects high and out of the playing surface area. Hanlon was down, Trottier was there, but there are a couple of bodies in front of him, and some of the Rangers got a piece of it.
Watch this man, number 19, Bryan Trottier. Potvin, number 5, gets that puck, as he usually does, right on net, but Trottier, I don't know how he missed. He had that puck labeled for the top corner, but just at the last minute, the last second, I should say, that puck was tipped up and over the glass. If they can eliminate number 19, Bryan Trottier, and that will have a lot to do with the Rangers' success, because he's just a tremendous leader for this Islander team. But he's a tough man to try and take away as well. He is tricky. He can maneuver out on the ice. Besides that, his second effort usually gets him away from any shadow.
Well, he had knee problems in earlier in the season, in January, missed 12 games, still ended up with 40 goals, 71 assists, 111 points. Potvin works it across to Persson. And he fans on the pass, nearly a break for the Rangers. Islanders very fortunate there. 1:10 to go, and Greshner's penalty. And Beck wraps it down.
Number 7, Stefan Persson, has looked very shaky out there in this first period. It almost appears he has playoff jitters. He shouldn't have. He's got enough experience back in the blue line.
Persson now takes a seat on the bench. He's replaced by Jonsson. Potvin. Gilbert. He has Jonsson set up in the slot. Bossy has some room, plenty of time, 45 seconds on the power play. Goes to Jonsson, who has a fine shot. There it is, and it's deflected. Comes in front, and Hanlon sticks it aside. Trottier keeps it in. He has Bossy. He fires. Saved by Hanlon again. Hanlon's coming out and challenging Bossy.
Hanlon really looked sharp on that play. He moved from his right to his left very quickly enough to stop Mike Bossy, who didn't wait. He just blasted it.
Maloney the steal. Anderson. 10 seconds on the power play for the Islanders. On the attack, it is Bossy looking in. Bossy in front. Hanlon dives for it. LaFontaine in the slot. The shot by Boutilier. And a deflection of the crowd, and that's it. The penalty is over. The Rangers kill it off again with 4:22 to go in the first. Boutilier at the right place. The Islanders have been getting the good positions for the shot. And there perhaps a Ranger fan applauding the Ranger defense.
Number 24, Ken-Eric Anderson for the Rangers came out and really made an excellent block right at the blue line. If you're going to block a shot, that's a great place to do it. Gives your goaltender lots of time to move on the play still. Boutilier getting that shot blocked. Rangers did an excellent job killing that penalty at the first of this season. Early in the season, they were number 1 in the league on penalty killing. They have moved to 11th. Their specialty teams, first half of the season, both very strong.
Hanlon has already faced 15 shots in the period. We have 4:15 to go. Bob Bourne. Pinned in by Greshner. It has been a very physical first period. Both teams looking for the body. Kenny Morrow chasing back. He has been playing on a bad knee all season long. And Morrow now having a couple of words with the Rangers' Osborne, as Osborne tried to finish Morrow out after the whistle. And now Bob Bourne comes in. That's Osborne's glove. Osborne and Bourne go at it.
Wow, Bobby Bourne looked like he was some man. He just went at Osborne like a wild cat out there, and he just continued to throw those punches. Osborne, I don't think he even got in one punch with Bourne. There you see the linesman, Ryan Bozak, breaking it up. Wasn't much to break up. It was a one-sided fight.
One of the hottest rivalries in the NHL. And of the many sports teams here in New York, this is the big rivalry in New York City. The Rangers against the Islanders. And it is getting hot very quickly here in the first period.
Bob Bourne for the Islanders was not expected to play, and he was a doubtful right up. So after pregame warm-ups tonight, he had a bad back, left practice early yesterday. He looked in fine condition in that little Donnybrook.
Well, it looks like they'll each get 5 minutes. Here's the announcement.
Number 14, Bob Bourne, 5 minutes each for fighting.
Yep, they both go off for 5. 16:06 is the time, so 3:54 to go. So both Osborne and Bourne leave the ice for the rest of the period. Stanley Cup Playoffs right here on USA. Tomorrow night, we'll be shuffling off to Buffalo for Game 2 of that series. And what a series that is. Buffalo against Quebec. Tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern Time right here on USA. So now the teams will be skating again 5-on-5 with goaltenders as the coincidental majors nullify one another.
I think so far in tonight's first period of play with 3 minutes 54 seconds remaining, Trottier's line has only been on there 3 times.
So Herb Brooks is trying to key on Trottier. He's only had to do it 3 times tonight on a regular shift. It comes in front, backhand, and Smith takes it in the mask and covers up.
Once again, it was Erickson that was left alone in front of that net area, goes to his backhand. Watch him, number 20. He comes from that slot area, moves to his backhand and gets off a high backhand. Billy Smith moving again from his right to his left, coming over there, blocking that shot nicely.
Billy Smith in the last 5 games for the Islanders this year, getting into playoff gear, gave up just 9 goals in those 5 games, only 1 in his last 2. Giving up a goal here, and the Rangers lead 1-0. 3.5 to go in this first period. Eriksson fighting with Jonsson. 2 Swedish players meeting at the boards. It is Beck. Flatley bearing down on him, knocks him off the puck. But the Rangers come out. Peter Sundstrom being watched by Langevin. Puts on the brakes, feeds it through, but Smith right on top of it. Flatley, who has been all over the ice. Here's a rookie playing his first Stanley Cup game. Does not appear to have the jitters, at least from our vantage point. 3 minutes left in this first period. And a late whistle, the Islanders offside.
So far for the Islanders, I believe that line of Tonelli, Brent Sutter, and Pat Flatley have probably been the best. This man here, number 10, Pierre Larouche, didn't quite make what he set out to do, especially in the last half of the season. He wanted to score 50 goals for the Rangers. Was stuck for quite a long time on number 47, ended up with 48 goals, still a tremendous season. He looks right at home out there, no jitters for him.
Patrick walking in, and now it is Gillies. Roughing it up for the Islanders, the veteran, who has scored more goals against the Rangers in the series between these two teams all time. 34 goals all time for Gillies against the New York Rangers. Rogers behind the net. Searching, but Boutilier comes in with a poke check and then takes Rogers out with a body. 2:20 left in the first period. Barry Beck fires it and deflected high into the crowd. So Barry Beck, who is elected, voted the most valuable player on the Rangers, the award given out the last home game Sunday. The captain of the Rangers, and certainly lends the spirit to this New York Ranger team going up against the Islanders. The face-off right inside the Islander blue line. The long shot, and Billy Smith handles that easily. Islanders have outshot the Rangers 15-11 here in this first period. Gillies for the Islanders, shoots it in as Hanlon handles it for Beck. Mike Rogers gets it out. Boutilier being chased by Brooke. Goring is there. Barry Beck off the boards. And Morrow sends it ahead. Kallur and Goring for the Islanders with Greg Gilbert. Boutilier. A minute and a half to go in the first period. The Rangers on a goal by Eriksson at 2:49, lead 1-0. Here at the Nassau Coliseum, where the Islanders have won their last 8 straight playoff games here on home ice. Don Maloney with 1:09 to go. Last year, the Islanders beat the Rangers in a tough 6-game grind. Ken-Eric Anderson with 1 minute to go. As the Rangers right now look as if they'll be very happy taking the 1-0 lead into the locker room, but Russelainen fires out. Hotman off the boards. 50 seconds left in the first period. Anderson again. And he'll make the Islanders work. Islanders looking for the attack with 35 seconds left. Greg Gilbert crisscrossing with Fossey, but never gets him the puck. Russelainen, he is smashed by Gilbert. 23 seconds of 3-on-2 for the Rangers. It is the shifty Pavlich. Poke checked away with 15 seconds left. Hedberg whistles the shot in, and Billy Smith covers it up. And with 8 seconds to go, the Rangers will get the faceoff in the Islander zone. Billy Smith, who last year won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the MVP. And Billy Smith trying to help the Rangers live up to that sign. The incredible final series, you think of Billy Smith in that one against Edmonton. In 4 games, giving up a total of 6 goals, shutting out Wayne Gretzky in the series. And he steps in now. Last year, he played the last 12 games in the playoffs. Going into the playoffs, recall, there's a question of who would play. Billy Smith or Rolly Melanson, who had a great season. And once again had a fine year for the Islanders this year. 2 seconds left, 1 second, and that is it, the end of the first period in the opening game of the playoffs between the arch rivals, the Islanders and the Rangers. And the shots on goal in that first period, the Islanders with 15 and the Rangers with 12. Coming up, interesting segment, Al Arbour on Al Arbour. The score after 1 period here at the Nassau Coliseum. The Rangers 1 and the Islanders nothing. First intermission activities begin in just a moment. The ice getting ready to start the second period. The Rangers lead the Islanders by the score of 1-0 after 1. The lone goal that came early, a shocker as far as the Islander fans here, as Jan Eriksson at 2:49 from LaRouche and Sundstrom, and that's the only scoring of the game so far. 1-0, the Rangers lead the Islanders. The Islanders have been getting their shots in the first period. It's not that they have been outplayed because they trail 1-0, but this man has been the key man. Glen Hanlon has turned away 15 Islander shots, many of them point blank, many of them testers, and he has kept the Rangers in front by the score of 1-0. Al Albert sitting in for Dan Kelly, along with Gary Green and Jim Hughson sitting in for Al Trottier. NHL Stanley Cup playoff action right here on USA. Tomorrow night will be in Buffalo. Game 2 of the series between the Sabres and the Quebec Nordiques. The Rangers quickly fire it in as Hedberg shoots the puck off the glass. Bossy whips it around to Potvin. He is taken out by Hedberg. A lot of hitting, both teams playing the body, taking out their man. And here's some jostling going on after the whistle. Early in the game, Steve Richmond, the burly defenseman of the Rangers, went head-on to any valuable property of the Islanders, and he got into a slashing entanglement with Dennis Potvin. 2 of them went off, and then late in the first period, it was Mark Osborne taking out Ken Morrow after a whistle, and Bob Bourne came in, and he and Osborne went off 5 minutes for fighting. So there is the bad blood between these two New York City rivals as they face one another for the 6th time in playoff action. The shot in front on the screen, and Persson clears it out. Just getting started the second period. Hedberg turned around. Lennon tries to keep it in, and it is Bossy. Bossy with 69 playoff goals. Trottier tries to keep it in, and he does. Only the Rocket Richard and Jean Beliveau have more playoff goals than Bossy. Here is Pavlich, drops it back. And Potvin puts his shoulder into Mikko Lennon, and his shot never had a chance. Taking a look at the scoreboard, in the second period, Buffalo leads Quebec 2-1. Also in the second, Philadelphia over Washington by the count of 2-1. And in the second period, Montreal and Boston, no score. They open that one up at the Boston Garden. 1 minute into this second period. Right here, it's the Rangers 1 and the Islanders nothing. Face-off in the Islander end. Mike Allison takes the draw now against Duane Sutter as LaFontaine is asked to remove himself. And it's played ahead. Both coaches, Gary, using 4 lines. And that one reason for the less ice time for Trottier and Bossy in that first period.
I really think Al Arbour is probably trying to do something up in speed right now. that ace in the hole. Let's face it, if they can win a game without using Trottier and Bossy too much, they're definitely ahead of the game.
Right now they trail, though, by the score of 1-0. Hanlon. Gillies looks in front. Don Maloney shoots it in, looks to dig after it. Chases with Morrow, but Billy Smith comes out. Gillies racks up Maloney. And now it is Ken Morrow onto the stick of Duane Sutter. Cross ice to LaFontaine, but he can't hold on. Freshner taking a look. The Rangers now have plenty of ice to clear out. Maloney, the MVP in the All-Star game, and he takes it in offside. 2 minutes gone by in this second period. The Rangers won, and the Islanders nothing.
As we take a look at number 12, Don Maloney, he's been playing along with Mike Allison, 14, and Kent-Eric Anderson, number 24. That line, Coach Brooke said before the game, has really been applying some forechecking pressure as of late. They have been reunited as a line, and he is very satisfied with them. They're not just a good defensive line, that they can really attack the opposition's defense. That's, I'm sure, what they've set out to do against the Islanders in tonight's game.
The Rangers now have the night's goal-scoring line. Larouche, Sundstrom, and Eriksson. Eriksson, who canned the only goal so far tonight. Langevin being forechecked. Plays it off the boards. Tonelli takes it there and drops it for Brent Sutter. He has Flatley. Sutter in front. Tonelli tries to keep it alive. And the Rangers with Peter Sundstrom all alone. 2 men back for the Islanders. And poke check by Langevin. Brent Sutter ahead to Tonelli, but he can't hold on. And the Rangers turn it back the other way. Sundstrom puts it in. Billy Smith gets stuck there with Sundstrom. Sutter chasing with Richmond. Eriksson. And he is taken into the Islander bench by Flatley. And now the whistle, and we'll have a face-off at center ice. From Alaska to Hawaii, you're watching the Stanley Cup Playoffs on USA. But can't get hold of the puck, and then he is crunched into the boards by Potvin. Hedberg takes a hit from Bossy. And it is Persson for the Islanders, watched by Pavlik. Pavlik, who has 18 points in the last 11 games for the Rangers. The mighty might of the Rangers. Bossy lofts it out. The Islanders nearly had a 2-on-1. But Ruotsalainen is back for the Rangers. Tommy Laidlaw is circling. 4 minutes into this second period. Rangers lead 1-0. Bossy looking, lays it up, hits the post. And it comes all the way back out. So Bossy just teeing it up. You saw the way he teed it up with the top of his stick. And Hanlon coming out, he'll tell you, well, I had the angle paid perfectly. All I gave him was the post.
Not only on Bossy's shot, but then the rebound coming out to Potvin, and Potvin just had an excellent opportunity to put it home, and Hanlon stopped him.
Now the Rangers hold on 1-0. Duane Sutter fires it in. It's Sutter, Bourne, and LaFontaine. LaFontaine using the body. Sutter in front. Boutilier closes in. And a pad save by Hanlon, who is dumped, and a penalty coming up to Sutter. And Hanlon knew he would be getting some of this from Duane Sutter. So Sutter will be going off. The Rangers on the power play. Exclusive national coverage of the Stanley Cup on USA.
Shot from the point, but watch in front of the net area. Duane Sutter, high sticking was the call. He knocked Glen Hanlon right to his feet. 4:36 was the time. The Rangers on the power play, and that is where the Rangers excel. They are third best in the league overall. Power play, 74 goals and 296 opportunities through the year, 25%. That's excellent.
And they have scored 9 of the last 24 to close out the regular season. Some of the Islanders feel that Glen Hanlon claiming he had a bad back was a ploy just to get him some rest. I don't know why he would even have to say it. In front, Billy Smith makes the save. So the Islanders here testing to see if indeed Hanlon had the bad back. In front, the rebound, and it's shot wide by Rogers. So Ruotsalainen comes back. So very quickly the Rangers peppering Billy Smith with shots. Circling is Rogers. Sends it in, and Islanders chase back. And it's an icing. There's a collision. I tell you, Islanders are hitting everybody on the ice.
Gerard Gauthier, the linesman, was the unfortunate victim of Dennis Potvin's check down in the Islander corner. Take a look at it. Potvin's going for the puck. Gerard Gauthier really got in Potvin's way.
That tells you a little bit about the intensity of tonight's game. Potvin driving through anything. He didn't hear a whistle.
Al Gauthier stayed down the ice just for an extra couple seconds. I'm sure he's saying, this isn't my night. I'm just going to have to stay out of his way.
On the scoreboard, second period, Philadelphia and Washington all tied up at 2. And in the third period in Buffalo, Quebec has a 3-2 lead over the Sabres. And right here, Rangers lead it 1-0 in the second period. We'll be up in Buffalo tomorrow night for Game 2 of that series, the Sabres and the Nordiques. Rangers with a power play, another minute and 13 seconds. Mikko Leninen, who has the NHL playoff record for assists in one game, 6 assists in a game against Philadelphia. Maloney is in front. Runs into Hedberg. Maloney checked by Persson with the long arms and the stick all over the ice. It comes out to Rogers. Goes cross ice. Patrick the shot. And it's smothered by Langevin, and he gets it out. Beautiful play by Dave Langevin. And here's a break. Brent Sutter. Goring is pulled down. No penalty. Goring was hooked, but Bruce Hood did not make the call. And the Rangers now racing the other way. Rogers takes a look. He has Maloney in the slot. Brings it back to Ruotsalainen. Rebound. And Smith has it. Smothered. The Rangers got a break. A possible 2-on-1 for the Islanders. Goring was definitely hooked. No call. The Rangers speed back, and Bill Smith stones it.
Watch number 12, Don Maloney, standing in front of that net area after Mike Rogers had made a great rush. There's Maloney. He's trying to get that puck by Billy Smith, and finally, the Islander defense came in, tried to flatten Maloney, missed. But Smith coming up with the save. Lots of pressure on Billy Smith this second period.
Both teams know the value of the next goal in this game. Either Rangers could have a little more comfortable 2-0 lead, or the Islanders knot it up and they start from scratch. 24 seconds to go, and the Islander penalty to Duane Sutter.
This is an important faceoff right now. Mark Pavlich taking that draw. Faceoff in this situation, very key.
And he goes up against Trottier. It comes in front, and Smith will not let it go any further.
I don't know whether or not the Rangers have anyone that can beat Bryan Trottier on a consistent basis. I think Trottier is probably one of the finest face-off men in the league. You will see him out there for one face-off after another in the end zone.
Ruotsalainen fires, and the rebound cleared by Potvin. 12 seconds in the Islander penalty. Osborne poking forward. Bourne races back, being chased by Pavlich. Kept in by Greshner. 2 seconds. The penalty is over as Duane Sutter back on the ice, but set up as Ruotsalainen, and it's deflected. Billy Smith trying to clear Osborne away from in front. Right in front of Bruce Hood. No whistle, but this one, the icing call. For our local system, we'll pause now. You're watching Stanley Cup Playoffs on USA. Allison will try to do something against Trottier, but you see Trottier with a quick hands gets the draw. 1-0 Rangers lead, 7 minutes into the second period. Here on Long Island, Trottier staying on Laidlaw. And Trottier now goes to the bench, and the change is made. LaFontaine comes back on. He's with Flatley and Tonelli for the Islanders. Rangers with Mike Allison, Don Maloney, and Ken-Eric Anderson. Flatley on the right wing as Laidlaw takes a run of him. James Patrick, who has stepped right in for the Rangers, coming out of the Olympic competition, and he right now foundation for the Rangers many years to come with Beck and Ruotsalainen on the defense and Laidlaw. Don Maloney sets up Barry Beck. Long shot, and Billy Smith had some problems. Did not know where that puck was rebounding, and now Bruce Hood is calling a penalty on the Rangers. Ken-Eric Anderson, I believe. Oh, wait, no. It is against the Islanders. Langevin is going on. A high stick is called against the Islanders, Dave Langevin. So the Rangers will once again have a power play.
That call had to take place right at the blue line because Barry Beck of the Rangers, he shot from over the blue line, the long shot. Smith seemingly having a little bit of trouble with it, but that was a call really behind the play.
7:45 is the time. High sticking, so the Islanders have just killed a penalty. And now down 1-0 for Stanley Cup banners flying high above the Nassau Coliseum. And the Islanders here in this first round, the short series, best 3 out of 5 going up against their arch rivals, an emotionally charged matchup between the Islanders and the Rangers. And the Rangers lead 1-0. Rogers gets it out to the point. And here is Trottier. He is pulled down, and there goes the Ranger power play.
Not a good move by the Rangers. They had a good opportunity to apply some more pressure to the Islanders. Watches Trottier, gets hooked from behind by number 10, Pierre Larouche. Trottier goes down. Larouche goes to the penalty box.
Rangers penalty to number 10, Pierre Larouche. 2 minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty is 8:01.
8:01 the time, 2 minutes for hooking for LaRouche. So the teams will now skate 4-on-4. And the Islanders, you could bet Bob Bourne will be out there. See who Al Arbour and Herb Brooks send out. For Brooks, it is Hedberg up front, along with Pavlich, 2 of his speedsters, and Al Arbour has Bourne out there, but now Bourne coming out. Bossy and Trottier. So these 2 have been held in check so far tonight. We have 11:59 to go in the second period. So for just about half a game now, Hanlon has shut out the Islanders. Hanlon coming off a shutout in the final regular season game against Hartford. That was his first shutout in 3 seasons. The first shutout for the Rangers this year. And so far the Islanders are blank through just about half this game. Passing with 4 Rangers back. No penalty is called on that one as Bossy takes a flyer. Bossy chasing it down, tripped up again. And now the Rangers clear. Ruotsalainen. Hedberg has a man streaking in front with Allen. Allen trying to beat his man to the puck, but Gressner pins it as Brent Sutter flies into Hedberg. Jonsson onto the stick of Sutter. Goes close range to Tonelli. Jonsson calling for the puck, but James Patrick is there. The long pass at the red line was Rogers, but he was over the line. 2-line pass against the Rangers. So 37 seconds to go in Langevin's penalty. 53 seconds to go in LaRouche's penalty. So Islanders will have a 16-second man advantage.
This game is authorized under television rights granted by the National Hockey League. It's intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Hockey League is strictly prohibited.
Well, the Rangers now have outshot the Islanders in the game 20-17. 10:50 to go in this second period. 1-0 Rangers lead. It is Tonelli, pulls the trigger, and Hanlon is there again, covered by Potvin, as the Islanders continue to rush the net. Team skating 4-on-4. Langevin will be out in 17 seconds. Laidlaw rushes to the blue line, sends it in. Mike Allison looks in front. 5 seconds, Langevin will be out. Now the Islanders set up. They have 16 seconds of a power play advantage. As Langevin is back on the ice, Brent Sutter, long shot, and Hanlon comes way out and convincingly puts it in the corner. LaRouche will be out in 5 seconds. Long shot, and Billy Smith steers it to his teammate, Pearson. And the team's now at equal strength, at full strength. 9:50 left. And an offside. The score, the Rangers won, the Islanders nothing. A reminder that USA Sports is bringing you the Stanley Cup Playoffs. And the Bruins have just scored. Fergus scoring the goal to tie up Montreal in the second. 1-1 score in that first game. Right here could be the big surprise of the opening game of this first round. Rangers leading the Islanders 1-0. We are midway through this hockey game. Morrow to center and shoots it in. Bourne looking for the pin, looking for the face-off, and he's got it.
You notice tonight that Herb Brooks' strategy so far has pretty much been to the T. Whenever they attack the Islanders' end zone, they are either dumping the puck into the corners, trying to put that pressure on the defense, or else they are sending one man straight through the defense, splitting the defense, as Mark Pavlich has done a couple of times this period, and then trying to get that puck to him. They're really trying to get the Islanders' defensemen tossing and turning, knowing well that they've got a few bad knees on that blue line.
Bourne got the stick on it. He has LaFontaine. LaFontaine circles out to the point. Boutilier fires, and it hits the post. Another post for the Islanders. Or I should say, another post for Hanlon. Sundstrom trying to dig it free. Being pestered by Duane Sutter. And the Rangers do the job. They come out 3-on-2, but the shot saved by Smith. Laidlaw looks for the screen. A possible break for Duane Sutter. But Ruotsalainen is there. There's no way he's going to beat Ruotsalainen. And now the Rangers 3-on-2. Eriksson again, Ruotsalainen. And Billy Smith got a piece of that. Eriksson gets it free right in front. Smith comes out to kick it aside. The Islanders, possible 3-on-2. And it's poke checked by Barry Beck. Boutilier. The Islander had been offside. Gilbert, and he stands on the shot. And you saw Laidlaw forgot about the puck, didn't care about the puck, but went after the Islander Gilbert. And an icing called against the Rangers with 8:07 to go in the second period. 1-0 Rangers.
Billy Smith looking very determined in the net. There was one time during this second period of play that Billy Smith kind of gave the Rangers a warning. He swung his stick very heavily. This time, however, watch as Billy Smith stopped Kent-Eric Anderson, number 25 for the Rangers, dead. I mean, he went out, took the body. That ended up stopping the puck. Kent-Eric Anderson went flying over top of Billy Smith. You can well rest assured that Billy Smith is ready for this Stanley Cup Playoff Series, and the more he plays, the better.
Well, I guess that's the message all the way down the Islander roster. Take the body, but it's also been the message for the Rangers. Both teams close checking. Speaking of taking the body, Trottier, who loves to mix it up.
That shows you some of the leadership of Bryan Trottier. There he goes. He just levels James Patrick, and James Patrick is a big, strong young defenseman. Bryan Trottier will take on the biggest and the toughest, and more times than not, he'll knock them over.
And Arbour remains on with a line of Trottier, Bossy, and Gilbert. They have been silent so far. We have just under 8 minutes to go in this second period. Al Albert, along with Gary Green and Jim Hughson, bringing you Stanley Cup action on USA tomorrow night up in Buffalo. The Sabres against Quebec in Game 2 of their Adams Division Semifinal. 7:30 start tomorrow night, Eastern Time from Buffalo. Face off to the right of Hanlon, who has been perfect. He's had some big posts tonight, and so far has blanked the four-time Stanley Cup champion Islanders. Butch Goring, the Grizzly veteran, is on there to try to spark things for the Islanders as Al Arbour makes the change. Kent-Eric Anderson crisscrossing with Mike Allison. Smith steers it aside. Langevin and Anderson bump. Here's Don Maloney. Puts it in front. Klister walks in, and Smith again comes out. Rebound. Smith has it. Left belong, but the Islanders come out 2-on-2. Gillies with Jonsson. It's a 2-on-1. Jonsson looking in front. And a sliding Greshner knocks it away. So Greshner racing back, but there's an injured Ranger. Mike Allison back at the other end of the ice. Bodies flying all over the place.
Take a look at some of this action in front of the Islander end zone. There's Greshner, number 4, with an excellent opportunity. Here comes 14, Allison. Now, he's really getting clobbered here. Watch Billy Smith in the background. He's kicking and scratching and fighting his darndest to get back up on his feet. That's when Allison was injured.
And the sliding continued to the other end of the ice. Side play back in. 7:15 left in this second period. It has been a war, as expected, between these two bitter rivals, the Rangers and the Islanders, who share New York City, along with some help now to the west, the New Jersey Devils, but they are perhaps a few years away from this kind of competition.
You wonder what the strategy of Al Arbour is coming into tonight's game. He knows, first of all, that he's missing a big, strong right winger in Bobby Nystrom, who may be back for tomorrow night's game. Everyone wants to take a crack at the Islanders, and obviously Herb Brooks and the Rangers would dearly love to knock off their crosstown rivals. The tough task, Herb Brooks said before the game, there's no reason we cannot beat this Islander team. I know everyone has slated us as underdogs, but let's face it, we did beat them during the course of those 7 games, and that has to mean something.
As we talked Saturday night in Washington, the way the Rangers have been struggling the last month of the season, we figured perhaps with the Rangers playing the Islanders in the first round, that would be the emotional spark the Rangers would need to come together. Well, they're bearing us out, at least here in the first game so far. We have 7 minutes to go in the second period. The Rangers holding on to that early goal by Jan Eriksson. He scored at 2:49 of the first period. Boutilier closes in, hits the side of the net, and a penalty coming up against the Islanders. Hanlon coming out of his net. Extra attacker is on. And the Islanders again will fight a man down. Exclusively on USA Sports, it's the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs.
Dennis Potvin off. 2 minutes for high sticking. A lot of high sticking calls so far in tonight's game, mostly by the Islanders. 13:23 was the time. The Rangers once again on the power play.
It has been a busy night for referee Bruce Hood, who is officiating his 104th NHL playoff game, which is one from the record set by Bill Chadwick. And he should break the record this season. Morrow gets it out, so the Islanders putting themselves in a hole again. Pacing, Mikko Lehtonen with Butch Goring. Reijo Ruotsalainen. As we mentioned before, Rangers with one of the better power play units in the NHL, ranking 3rd. Jonsson slaps it down. 30 seconds gone by, and Potvin's penalty for high sticking. It has been a rough game so far. Don Maloney in front, and there's Billy Smith with the stick, and Goring completes it.
Good defensive move by goaltender Billy Smith. He deflected that just as a defenseman would in front of that net area. He didn't take any chances. He got the puck out of that area himself.
Pierre Larouche, who has scored 19 power play goals this year. Of his 48, 19 on the power play. And Smith decides, well, I may as well hold it. 53 seconds to go in the power play.
You can when you're healthy, and that is something that not only the Rangers are going to work on, but if the Islanders ever do get by the Rangers, every single team is going to test this blue line of the Islanders out.
Plus the Rangers finding out exactly what the mobility of Morrow is.
I think a good strategy as well of Herb Brooks going to see the Islanders play in Washington in a very key game the other night. I'm sure he learned something about this Islander team.
45 seconds in the Ranger power play. Hedberg streaking behind with Hughson draped on him. Hatlett trying to wheel away from Langevin. Osborne, who was earlier in the fight with that man, Bob Bourne. They tangle again and a whistle. And we'll have a face-off deep in the Islander end. 27 seconds remain in Potvin's penalty.
Only 5 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in this second period of play. If the Rangers can come out of this second period with a lead going into that dressing room, that is just going to give them a great advantage going in the third period. A lot of it has to do with this man here, Glen Hanlon. He has been very, very solid between those pipes for the Rangers, and everyone knows that you're not going any place in playoffs unless you have solid goaltending. That is the key.
The Rangers have outshot the Islanders 15-4 in this second period. This period has belonged to Billy Smith. He is trying to hold on now to a 1-goal deficit. Rangers power play for 17 seconds. Trying to spread out the Islanders. They do. Russellinen as he fired that one high. 10 seconds to go on the power play. And the Islanders kick it out. So Potvin getting ready to re-enter the ice. As the Islanders kill it off again. 4.5 minutes to go in the second. 1-0 Rangers lead. Trying to stun the Islanders in game number 1. The long pass for Flatley, and he is bumped by Laidlaw. Took it right there in the corner. Very dangerous area where the glass juts out. Patrick with LaFontaine. Mike Allison, who has recovered from the belt he took in front of the Islander goal. This is Allison looking for Erickson, the lone goal scorer. 2-on-2. Flatley with LaFontaine. LaFontaine putting on the speed. Oh! As he is hung up there in the crossbar. But he is ready for more action. LaFontaine in front. Goal! Pat Flatley, the 2 Olympians who joined the Islanders late in the season, hook up and put the Islanders on the scoreboard.
As you can hear the crowd roaring, Arbour, I'm sure, is applauding these 2 young men. He put them into the lineup after the Olympics. Pat LaFontaine, number 16, feeding that puck out nicely to number 8, Pat Flatley. And Flatley just putting that puck
He just
with a great shot, wasn't it?
Just flatly blasted it in. So Flatley, who had 2 goals in the 16 games with the Islanders, and you know, we talked earlier about all the playoff experience of the Islanders with the Potvins and the Gillies and the Gorings and the Trottiers and the Bossies. And who are the guys who get them going? The 2 youngsters, LaFontaine and Flatley.
Watch LaFontaine go right into the crossbar area. That shows how much courage number 16, Pat LaFontaine, has. He's going to try and put that puck in the net regardless. He'll sacrifice the body to do so. He just started things off. He doesn't finish them off, but boy, he puts that puck out first of all to Flatley. Otherwise, that goal would not have been scored. There it is. LaFontaine taking the check to make the play, and what a play he made.
Jonsson also gets the assist at 16:20, and it's all tied up at 1. So LaFontaine staying right with it. And now the Islanders again. And this time it's Bossy and Gilbert with Trottier trailing. Gilbert goes down, and now the Rangers racing back. 3:13 left in this second period. Russellinen, the shot, rebound, and it's swept away by Langevin.
Here's the test for the goaltenders now, because this next goal is going to be the biggest. Each goaltender has to fight for his team in between those fights. He can't allow a goal.
2 minutes, 50 seconds, 2-on-1. Bourne has Sutter. Bourne walks in, scores! The Islanders strike again. They lead.
Just scored a very important goal. Look at the move he makes on Hanlon. All right, now, for a goaltender, Hanlon has to wait for Bourne to make the move. Instead, Bourne waits Hanlon out. Hanlon makes the move. Bourne makes a nice play to the inside. Put down is ahead 2-1.
Bourne had Sutter as a decoy, and he also had Bossy trailing. Quite a few options. So Bob Bourne, as Gary mentioned, who almost did not play tonight, he was the leading scorer for the Islanders last year in their run to the 4th Stanley Cup championship. So the Islanders, after trailing most of this game, have scored 2 goals within 53 seconds. Herb Brooks and the Rangers know very well the explosiveness of the Islanders, and they see it here. 17-13 the time, and Dave Langevin gets the assist on Bourne's goal. The Islanders now have turned it around. They trail 1-0. They lead 2-1 with 2.5 to go in this second period. And the star in the second period. Well, here comes Sutter again. He fires, and Hanlon got a piece of that and puts it 10 rows into the crowd.
You see Brent Sutter now roughing it up, but he just got away an excellent shot that was labeled for that top corner, and not Glen Hanlon deflected it away. Temper's getting a little bit hot here, as we could expect. Before this game even started, you know that would happen.
And there is an elbow by Sutter, getting one shot in while he can on a breakup. So we'll have some penalties here. Gary, really the star for the Islanders this period. You think about LaFontaine, who sets up Flatley, Bourne with a night rush. Billy Smith, he kept the Islanders just the one goal down with some fine play in the net, facing 15 shots here in the second period before the Islanders came back to score their goals.
You can't believe how much confidence the Islander players have in Billy Smith, and they just know that he may be a little erratic in some of the things he says and some of the things he does, but they know he's a winner. They know that when they have tough times, he'll be there to get them going until they have good times, and he's done exactly that tonight.
And Bruce Hood letting them play and letting them scuffle. No penalties called. Potvin right in front. There's an Islander. That is Duane Sutter, who already introduced himself to Hanlon tonight. You can see the confidence of the Islanders now picking up as Sutter's shot just whistles by the post. Brent Sutter putting on the pressure along with his brother Duane, as they're now on the line with Clark Gillies. Duane Sutter smashed into the boards. A minute 50 left in the second period. Islanders now lead 2-1. Potvin as he jolts Pavlich. Rangers calling for an intentional grounding there, but they don't get the call.
Meanwhile, Bruce Hood had been knocked over by the Ranger bench by a Ranger player that was trying to get off the ice. Bruce Hood, hurt earlier on a USA Network game this year. He has apparently got a blood clot behind his shin. Makes it a little bit difficult for skating. But it's a tough and rough series. You couldn't pay me all the tea in China to officiate one of these games between the Islanders and the Rangers. Just a very heated battle.
Well, we'll switch from hockey to basketball here on USA. Thursday night in USA with the Islanders, the defending champions, 4 times. Moving in front of the Rangers 2-1 here in the second period. Allison. As there is Flatley, who has been a whirling dervish all over the ice. Looking for the veteran Tonelli. Russelainen wrestles Tonelli to the ice right in front of Bruce Hood. Fontaine. As he moves in front again. Fontaine with 1 minute to go. Islanders with more heat. And the Rangers clearing out. 50 seconds go. 3-on-2. Anderson, the long shot. Langevin goes down. Anderson staying right with it. Don Maloney. James Patrick in front, and Maloney's shot just wide. 30 seconds to go. And now it's the Rangers with the pressure on. And it is finally frozen. 23 seconds remaining in this second period. The Islanders with 2 goals, 53 seconds apart, lead it 2-1.
Al, I can't say enough about this young man, number 16, Pat LaFontaine. When he came off the bench, what a move he made in front of that Ranger net. You got to remember that Pat LaFontaine does not have a Stanley Cup ring, and boy, he wants one badly.
Well, there are 16 Islanders that have all 4 Stanley Cup rings. Brooks has a gold ring in the Olympics, and now looking for the NHL version of the championship. .23 seconds left. Islanders taking control here in the second period after it had been basically Rangers in a territorial edge. They had outshot the Islanders 15-4 at one point here in this second period. 6 seconds to go. Islanders see if they could get off one more shot. 3 seconds. Beck bodying Hughson. And we'll see if there's some extracurricular activity. No. Billy Smith standing tall in the Islander goal here in the second period. The shots on goal in the second period. The Rangers 16, the Islanders 8. So through 2 periods of play, the Rangers with 28 shots on goal, the Islanders with 23. Coming up, Arbour on Arbour Part 2. The score after 2 periods of play here in Uniondale, it's the Islanders 2 and the Rangers 1. We'll have our second period intermission session coming up in just one moment. Now, oh my goodness, and back the other way it is Tonelli. He is ridden out nicely by Patrick. There's Flatley digging again. Hanlon trying to help out. Allison with the goal just yawning at him. And here he is again, missing his golden opportunity. 2-1, the Islanders lead. They scored 2 goals, 53 seconds apart, late in the second period to turn around a 1-0 deficit. Islanders have been outshot 28-23 through 2 periods.
Billy Smith has been out of his net roaming a little bit more than I would have expected him to be. He's been taken out of the play. He's been taking Rangers out of the play. He's had some help from his defense in playing goal.
Erickson, number 20 for the Rangers, the only man who has gotten one by Billy Smith tonight. Pierre Larouche digging for it, along with Langevin. The Islanders, led by Jonsson, hits the red line. Bossy fires, and he whistles that one wide. And it comes all the way back as Langevin chases Smith, works it around to Jonsson. And Bossy takes it off the boards. Bossy being checked by Larouche. The defenseman has it. Jonsson, risky pass with Larouche right in front for the Rangers, but the Islanders come out 2-on-1. Gilbert streaking in. Shoots, scores! Gilbert beats Hanlon, and it's 3-1 Islanders.
A risky play in the Islanders' end zone, but it turned out to be sheer goal as Greg Gilbert makes his move. Again, Hanlon caught way out of the net area, and he gets caught once again making the move first. Watch, Gilbert fakes the shot, Hanlon's out. Just almost an impossible angle, but Gilbert was able to find enough room to put it just inside that post. Tough break for Glen Hanlon. The Islanders go ahead 3-1.
A 4th-round draft pick, Greg Gilbert, who was inserted on the left wing this season with Trottier and Bossy, and he responded with 31 goals, and he hits tonight and makes it 3-1.
What a game Dave Langevin's having tonight. 2 assists so far. He assisted on Gilbert's goal along with Bossy. Give this man a lot of credit. Mrs. Langevin, you should be very proud of your son, Dave Langevin, the way he's playing tonight.
The time of the goal, 2:12, Gilbert from Bossy and Dave Langevin. And the Islanders now with some room to work, leading 3-1. Here is Gillies. Lets it fly. Langevin on the assist on that goal. He has 2 assists tonight. Back the other way. It is Pavlich crisscrossing with Hedberg. Pavlich putting on the steam. Staying with it in front. But the Islanders back the other way. Sutter looking for Gillies. Broken up by Hughson. Gillies with the Sutter brothers. As Arbour, who has interchangeable parts on this club, outside of the number 1 line that he rarely touches anymore. But here now, he puts the Sutters with Gillies. They have all played with one another down through the years. The Islanders 3, Rangers 1. Rangers struck first, and they held on for close to 2 periods. Hughson, knocked down, no call. In front, score! LaFontaine, 4-1. And it's the Islanders' kitty core. LaFontaine, Flatley, Gilbert, pouring it on the Rangers.
Kids night out, I guess, Al. Here goes LaFontaine with just some spectacular moves in the second period. What a great shot that was, right from the slot area. Flatley, you can see him raising his arm. He had a part to play in this as well. The 2 youngsters hug each other in sheer joy. They should be happy. to play for this Islander team, but they are more than contributing. They have during the end of the season, and it looks as though they're going to contribute all through playoffs.
I think LaFontaine is accepted already by his teammates. 19 years old. In the 15 games he played with the Islanders this year, since joining from the Olympics, he scored 13 goals. And here are the Islanders again. It is Gillies. Islanders looking to break this one open. Bob Brooke, who played in the U.S. Olympic team out of Yale, sends it in, number 13, as he puts Jonsson into the boards. Richmond taking a swing at Kallur. And now the Rangers just running around. The wind has been taken out of their sail. The dive by Richmond, and Bruce Hood doesn't pick up on that. 4 minutes, 15 seconds gone by. In this third period, the Islanders now comfortably in front by the score of 4-1. It took them a while, but they are giving a demonstration of just how explosive they are. As Brent Sutter comes back. Sticks flying, and now it is Langevin in a fight with Brooke. Frustrated Rangers in front of the Islander goal. Ryan Bozak trying to break them up. You see blood on the ice, and Brooke is peeled off. Coast-to-coast coverage of the Stanley Cup Playoffs only on USA. Bourne hatchbacks. Well, penalties have been dished out. To the Islanders, Dave Langevin. To the Rangers, Bob Brooke. 5 minutes each for fighting. The time, 4:38.
You had mentioned the word frustration. I think that's exactly what was going on out there in the ice on the Rangers' part. Bob Brooke now leaving the ice. Just prior to that incident, I thought Richmond for the Rangers was doing a lot of sticking as well. He was almost trying to pick a fight with Kallur and then with Tomas Jonsson as well. Right now the Rangers best stick to hockey. I know that that's what Herb Brooks will be preaching to them, because a comeback's not impossible. Yet against this Islander team, it will be even a more difficult task, because they are almost flawless in the third period when they do have the lead.
And with 4.5 minutes gone by in this third period, Billy Smith is yet to face a Rangers shot. Trottier. Flatley, he's got the angle as Hanlon came 15 feet out. The Rangers desperately have to strike here. With 15:07 to go in this third period, 4-1 in favor of the Islanders. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. In Washington, in the third period, the Capitals lead Philadelphia by the score of 4-2. And in Minnesota, in the second, the North Stars won and the Blackhawks nothing. First night, everybody going. 8 different series getting started. The excitement of the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. And Al Arbour, who's looking for victory number 98 in the playoffs, which would put him only 2 behind Toe Blake. Scotty Bowman with 111 has won more games than any other coach in NHL playoff history.
Just a reminder as well, since it is the first game of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, that this is a 3 out of 5 series, a short series where teams can be surprised.
And tomorrow night will be in Buffalo for game number 2. The Sabres and the Nordiques starting at 7:30 Eastern time. And more jostling. Gary, this has been what you would call a classic playoff type of a game. Close checking, a lot of hitting, both teams looking to body, taking their man out.
Couldn't agree with that more, and some solid goaltending until the last few goals by the Islanders, where Glen Hanlon perhaps has been somewhat shaky. That last goal, I don't think he can fault him too much. He came out of his net to cut down the angle. A very good goal by Gilbert that probably 9 out of 10 times wouldn't go in, but on this particular occasion for the Islanders, it did go in.
Well, how much of it do you think could have been the Islanders setting the table through the course of the first half of the game? Crowding in on Hanlon, bumping Hanlon whenever they had a chance, and perhaps now getting the dividends. A break again. Trottier, he was looking in front for Bourne. Erickson, who has the Lone Ranger goal. That came at 2:49 of the first period.
Watch Trottier out there, because going into this third period, he's well rested. He hasn't played a great deal in the first two periods. He just had a shift out there where he skated miles, showed the better speed than anybody on the ice. It looks as though he's ready.
14:17 to go in the third. Islanders 4, the Rangers 1. We'll pause and be right back on USA.
Last Saturday night in Washington, when the Islanders really had to win badly, 0-0 going into that third period, I think the Islanders only had a total of 5 shots on net through the whole third period, yet scored 3 goals.
And that was a scoreless game going into the third. Islanders have bunched them together. 2 goals in the second period, late in the second, 53 seconds apart by Flatley and Bourne. And then 2 goals early here in the third, a minute 16 apart by Gilbert and LaFontaine. And we'll go all the way out. Right now it appears as if the air is out of the New York Rangers.
This is the time when the New York Islanders, they kind of settle back and play a very sound defensive game. Herb Brooks knows right now that it's going to be very difficult for his Rangers to penetrate that blue line of the Islanders. They'll line them up, they'll hook, they'll do a little grabbing, they'll run the interference on you because they have got big, strong wingers as well as big, strong defensemen. Makes it very difficult to get inside.
And how different would this game be if Mike Allison had hit that open net? It was then 2-1 Islanders. It would have tied the game. But since he missed that, the Islanders have roared back and have made it, instead of a 2-2 game, a 4-1 hockey game. Potvin puts it between the legs. Magic Johnson on ice. And now it is Pavlich. But the Rangers, too much in a rush to get across in an offside. Coming up tomorrow.
Minutes and 42 seconds is their wingers are exceptionally strong, so that allows their defense to utilize the board areas. Just shovel it around there. You can bet their wingers will get it out.
And here is Tonelli, busting for the puck. Bodied by Beck. Flatley races in, digs it out. Flatley, who fits in so well with the Islanders, is mucking and grinding. And he has a goal and assist tonight. Kicked out, racing for it is LaFontaine. Out to Boutilier. Boutilier at the ripe old age of 20. Flatley in front. LaFontaine again. Just missing wide as he didn't get all wood on the shot. 7 minutes gone by in this third period. 4-1 Islanders. Anderson looking to walk in. Still the Rangers without a shot in the third period. And the youngsters are out there doing it. LaFontaine and Flatley. And the Islanders, again, they're playing without their veteran playoff hero of the past, Bob Nystrom, who has a jammed left hand. He missed the last 4 games. And they're looking forward to getting his experience in the lineup. Another out-of-town score, third period. And look at that. Montreal looking to pull off the stunner of the night. 2-1 over Boston in the third. Boston red hot, finishing the season, winning their last 5 games. And Montreal settling quite neatly into that 4th place in the Adams division. And they have the 1-goal lead in the third.
This man, Dennis Potvin, number 5, pulled off a fantastic move right in the neutralized area. Used the old between the legs trick. Totally fooled the Ranger player.
Islanders again with another assault. Kallur looks to take Laidlaw outside. And Hanlon covers up. Well, the first 2 years of the Islander franchise, the Rangers certainly took advantage, winning 10 of the first 11 meetings in the regular season. It has been a long climb uphill for the Islanders, who now lead the season series, 37 wins to 34. And Al Arbour has been behind the bench as the Islanders have made that long climb.
Interesting for Al Arbour is that he's such an intelligent coach that he always seems to have something in his bag of tricks. Last year, when he put together that line of Bourne and the 2 Sutters, that was the line that carried it through. This year, don't be surprised if his young players, LaFontaine and Flatley, are in his bag of tricks, because so far tonight, it certainly looks that way.
So much for first game jitters for LaFontaine and Flatley. Flatley came out bumping. One of the things that sticks in my mind about this game is Flatley and Beck colliding, as the Rangers get their first shot on goal in the third period after 7 minutes and 44 seconds. But you remember the check by Flatley. Beck went bouncing off of him. All right, let's see the first shot again.
Well, you can see as Morrow, that puck actually went off of Morrow's skate, I believe. It changed direction, but Billy Smith standing in front of that net area. Always when you get that first shot of the period on top of you, you always have to question your concentration, but I guess we shouldn't question Billy Smith's concentration.
Well, he was handcuffed on that. He knew he was going to hold it in, not allow the rebound, so at that time his positioning of the stick just would have dropped it if he had to. Billy Smith playing his 103rd playoff game. Last year, the Islanders, or actually in the 4 seasons they've won the Stanley Cup, they have won 60 games in those 4 years. Billy Smith in net for 57 of those wins. A 2.71 goal average in Stanley Cup play. 12 minutes to go in this third period. Islanders by 3. The Islanders breaking it open here late. It was a tight game through most of the first 2 periods. Potvin puts it in front. They will play again tomorrow here at the Nassau Coliseum. Move to the Garden in Manhattan for game 3 and perhaps 4 over the weekend. 11:39 left in the third. It is Rogers, blocked by a sprawling Pearson. Lennon keeps it in, but now it is Potvin with his head raised, takes a look, and he skates it out. Well, one thing the Rangers have done, they've stopped Bossy and Trottier tonight from scoring. A small consolation now when they look at the scoreboard. Here is Beck streaking in. Lennon in the shot. On the screen, it is blocked in front.
I think there was about 3 Islanders in front of Billy Smith.
Gilbert fires. And a deflection of the crowd. For our local systems, we'll pause now. The Stanley Cup Playoffs coming your way on USA Sports. Tonight, Quebec has stunned the Sabres in Buffalo 3-2 to take game number 1. And we'll be there for game number 2 tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, right here on USA. I wonder if you call that an upset, because during the season, Quebec won the season series from the Sabres 6-1-1. But we'll be there tomorrow night to pick up game number 2. Becomes so crucial, nearly a must for Buffalo on their home ice. Pavlich walks in, but Billy Smith had plenty of time and good sight lines on that.
Well, the Rangers are starting to shoot from right at the blue line. They're having a tough time getting in close into that slot area. Take a look. There you can see 4 Islanders back. Here comes the 5th. The Rangers shooting from way out. Billy Smith not having much trouble whatsoever making that save. 46 times this year, the New York Islanders have led going into the third period. They have only lost 3 of those times. Tonight, well, once again, they are leading going into the third period. So far, they have got a commanding 4-1 lead. Statistics may mean nothing when it comes to playoffs. Then again, they may mean a great deal.
Well, if they mean something, you saw Pierre Larouche nearly becoming the first player to ever score 50 goals in a season for 3 different teams. But in the playoffs, he has played 37 playoff games and has tabulated a total of 6 playoff goals. Bossy, who has 69 playoff goals, works it around. Bossy has his 69 playoff goals in 89 games. 10:22 left in period number 3. The Islanders have taken control, leading by the score of 4-1. It'll be interesting to see what Al Arbour does with Billy Smith, his big man in net, and if he may be able to work out any playing time for Rolly Melanson, who is no slouch. Melanson last year 2nd in the voting behind Pete Peters for the Vezina Trophy. And once again this year, Melanson just about sharing the duties and having a better goal average than Billy Smith this year at 3.27. Trottier looking to pry it loose. And now Richmond looking for a fight. Dropped the gloves immediately. And Trottier ties him up from behind. The Islander fans looking to get into it with Richmond. So they are separated. We will be right back as the Stanley Cup Playoffs continue on USA. Let's beat the Flyers 4-1 in game number 1. Capitals with a heroic effort after Saturday losing to the Islanders and missing a chance of finishing in first. Then they had to beat Philadelphia 4-2 in that game. They had to beat Philadelphia at the Spectrum to finish in second place and get the home ice. And that's just what they did, 4-1 in that game. And so they get the home ice and they win the first one tonight.
I just think that showed a great deal of character on the behalf of the Washington Capitals, coming back so strongly, facing a well-rested Philadelphia Flyer team last Sunday night. They got home ice advantage. That's going to be important in this series.
Breakout for the Rangers. Don Maloney looking in front for Allison. The tip by Allison. It goes wide. And the Islanders, again, with the kiddie core out there. LaFontaine, 19 years old. Flatley, 20 years old. And then there is Tonelli. Not really a member of the kiddie core, but perhaps getting some more spring in his legs with the youngsters. 9:20 left in this third period. Islanders 4, the Rangers 1. Barry Beck being booed by the Islander crowd. Dennis Potvin watching on, knows what's in store for him once he steps on the ice in the Garden. Gillies plays it ahead to Goring. Goring, and it's blocked in front. And now Pavlich quickly wheels out. Rangers trailing by 3. They have but 2 shots on net here in this third period. Potvin takes a check. And now we have a whistle. The trip is called.
Big Clark Gillies dumped Anders Hedberg as he was flying by him.
And that is just what the doctor ordered for the Rangers. The Rangers have not scored since the 2:49 mark. So Billy Smith, since that first goal of the game, has blanked the Rangers the rest of the way.
Well, you're going to have to watch this very closely to see it. Just at the top of your screen, there you see it, Clark Gillies. You'll see the 3 rolls done by Anders Hedberg as he went flying to the ice. Gillies looked very nonchalant about the whole thing, but nevertheless, the Rangers are on the power play, 3rd best in the NHL. If they could score on this one with still over 8 minutes remaining in this game, it puts them right back into it.
Well, the Islanders were the 4th best penalty-killing unit. And they have stopped the Rangers twice tonight. Islanders have not allowed a power play goal in the last 12 attempts going over 4 games. 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go. The penalty to Gillies, tripping at 11:16. Patrick keeps it in. In front to Rogers, blocked by the defense. And Kallur now with some room. And he'll lug the puck, looking to eat the clock as much as he can. 1:30 to go, and Gillies penalty. 4-1, the Islanders lead here on their home ice to open up this series. To open up another defense of the Stanley Cup Championship. They have won 4 in a row. Only one team, the Montreal Canadiens, in the late 50s, have won it 5 straight times. And you realize, in those years, the Canadiens just played 2 series. Not to take anything away from the feat of winning it 5 in a row. The drop pass as Osborne goes down. Ruotsalainen tries to keep it in and is slapped out. The Islanders, just to get out of their division, will have to beat the Rangers and then beat either Washington or Philadelphia, which is quite some chore. And then they'll have the winner of the Adams division before the finals. So that says even more for the accomplishment of the Islanders. 35 seconds to go in this power play, which has been a powerless play for the Rangers so far. Greshner rifles it in. Pavlich puts it out there. Patrick, an Islander is dumped. Patrick, long shot, and Billy Smith stays right with it. 18 seconds left in the power play as Billy Smith has shut the door on the Rangers.
Let's take a look at that last save by Billy Smith. You can see that he goes up with that right shoulder, then follows through with the left glove. Smith has only allowed 1 goal so far in this game. He is very much ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And another shocker final in Boston. First game, Montreal 2, the Boston Bruins 1. So the Bruins red hot, finishing the season undefeated in their last 7 games, and they are now down 1-0 to the Montreal Canadiens, who had been written off by most going into that first round. Freshner, 8 seconds on the power play, trying to get 1 shot off. There's the save, the big one by Smith on the screen. He had a man positioned right in front of him, Mark Osborne, as Hedberg got off the slapper. 6 minutes 39 to go in this third period. Al Albert sitting in for Dan Kelly, along with Gary Green and Jim Hughson sitting in for Al Troutwick. And now another penalty coming up to the Islanders. Trottier goes off, and the Rangers with another power play. For our local
Billy Smith will name the MVP after the game tonight.
All right, thank you, Jim Hughson.
Number 19, Bryan Trottier for the Islanders, takes a penalty. You see why in this particular occasion. Trottier going to the penalty box. 6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. What this does allow the Islanders, though, is the opportunity to continue to ice that puck. They have been effective so far in killing off the Rangers' power play. Let's see if they can do it again.
And also a long rest for guys like Bob Bourne, for Mike Bossy. When's the last time you saw Bossy on the ice?
He has not received too much ice time tonight at all. That could be a plus.
High 2 more scores. No surprise, Edmonton up 5-1. That's in the first. And St. Louis leads Detroit 1-0 in the third.
I say Bossy not having played much is a plus. As I said earlier, you like to see Bossy on the ice as much as possible, but for the Islanders' sake right now, they can have a well-rested Mike Bossy, not have to overplay him in a series. That's going to be to their benefit in the long run.
Rangers power play. They have been stopped 3 times by the Islanders in this game. 1:38 left in the penalty to Trottier. 6:05 remaining in this third period. Pierre Larouche, who had 19 power play goals this year. And the Islanders just chasing the Rangers back. 1:20 on the power play. And it appears as if the Islanders have just as many skaters out there as the Rangers. Rogers overskates. And the crowd here taunting the Rangers with a chant of 1940. That's the last time the Rangers have won a Stanley Cup. Here into the 44th year, while the Islanders in their 12th season have already won 4.
That's really rubbing salt into the wounds, isn't it?
And we'll have the face-off in the Islander end.
One thing right now that I notice with the Rangers, and Pierre Larouche is guilty of this as well, they're trying to carry the puck in by themselves, trying to get across that Islander blue line. You've got to do it as a team. If you're going to penetrate that zone, then utilize your wingers that are open or your open man, even if that's a defenseman rushing up. But an individual effort is not going to beat the New York Islanders.
Well, a good portion of the crowd convinced that this one is over. They have seen 4 Stanley Cups. And
they're a little spoiled now.
I would think you're correct in that assumption. 5:22 to go, and it's 4-1. And heading to the parking lot. Rangers must strike here if they have any kind of a shot. Billy Smith, does he have it? Yes.
Mark Pavlich getting off a blistering drive. Smith going down in that butterfly style this time. That's not something that he usually does, but take a look at it right from the top of the circle. Pavlich pivots and then blasts away. Smith really wondered whether or not that puck had gone underneath of him. You can see him leaning back as far as he could, but that puck was exactly where he had hoped it would be, underneath of his pads.
Billy Smith in the playoffs against the Rangers, 15 wins, just 3 defeats. 33 seconds on the Ranger power play. Russalainen can't handle it. And he is chased back by Brent Sutter. James Patrick seeing a lot of ice time. And he is tumbled by Toppin in front. And Billy Smith had it covered, but the shot went wide.
Wow, close call for the Islanders. Billy Smith doing a little bit of sprawling around in that goal crease area. I thought that deflection was headed straight for the net, but it was wide of the post. We'll get an opportunity to see it once again. Rangers coming close on this call. Watch this hit by Potvin, number 5, right at the blue line. But here's the close call. You can see Smith down. He's got his left leg wrapped around that goal post, and the puck was on the other side of it. It's a very awkward position for Billy Smith. Of course, Billy Smith is very used to awkward positions.
Well, there's a fear that he may have been hurt, but it looks to be fine. Actually, the Rangers could ill afford to lose Hanlon. In front, Bob Brooke. Smith was down. Smith, who was backed up by Rolly Melanson, backed up extremely well. The Rangers have a couple of young goaltenders, John Van Beesbrook and Steve Weeks, behind Hanlon. Hanlon is only playing his 7th playoff game. He has 1 decision, and that was a 5-0 loss to the Islanders. 4:10 to go in this game. 4-1, the Islanders lead. And now sitting on that 3-goal lead. Jonsson wraps it in, doesn't stay in there too long. Rangers have outshot the Islanders 5-3 in this third. Islanders have scored 2 on 2 of the 3 shots. Here's Bossy making a cameo appearance here in the third period.
One thing you'll note out there when you're watching the latter part of this third period, how the Islanders have slowed the game down immensely. They can do that so well. They really decide the pace of the game when they have the lead. Right now, very difficult for the Rangers to gain any momentum.
Well, Larouche trying to pick up the pace. Jonsson carries out, throws it in. Trottier. And you know, Trottier wants to score. Does not want to be blanked by the Rangers. We're coming down to the final minutes in this one. We'll be back with more on USA. 12 seconds to go in the third period. The Islanders 4, the Rangers 1. Flatley, Bourne, Gilbert, and LaFontaine have scored for the Islanders. Erickson for the Rangers. Erickson's goal came first, early, 2:49 into the game. And the Islanders have struck back for the last 4. Here is Flatley out to the point. Persson the try. And Tonelli and Laidlaw in front. A save by Hanlon. As you see, the scrapping continued in front of Hanlon and now behind the net. Peter Sundstrom. Poke check beautifully by Persson. LaFontaine with a goal and an assist in his first Stanley Cup game. 2:18 to go. And LaFontaine could do it all, even without a stick, able to clear it. And the crowd responds. They love it. 2 minutes left. Kenny Morrow. And we haven't seen that much of Morrow here in the third period. Al Arbour having the luxury to be able to rest Morrow in the sore knee. Now it is Pavlich hustling, trying to get around Morrow. He does, but Smith is there. And Morrow clears. Boutilier, he has Gillies on the left wing. Hughson wheels it around. 1:28 to go in this one. Gillies fires. Where is it? Right under Hanlon.
Hanlon wasn't sure where that puck was. He did not have it covered up. In fact, it was laying out in front of them. Take a look. Clark Gillies here with the puck. He gets winds up from a bad angle, but that puck somehow changed directions. Hanlon, you can see him looking around. Where is it? He said. Well, there it is. You can see at the bottom of your screen. Hanlon finally gets the glove on it.
The Islanders, who start the playoffs possessed, they are on a mission and run up against their arch rivals. the New York Rangers. The Rangers who spent 2 months in first place in the Patrick Division before they were knocked out by the Islanders, who ultimately finished in first place. Herb Brooks saw his team take a little bit of a swan dive at the end of the year, but they were looking forward to the emotional matchup against the Islanders. And it was all Rangers for most of the first 2 periods before the Islanders struck. LaFontaine setting up fellow rookie Pat Flatley at 16:20 of the second period, and then 53 seconds later, Bob Bourne scored to put the Islanders in front for good. And then Gilbert and LaFontaine scored early in the third period, 1 minute and 16 seconds apart. And now Bruce Hood is orchestrating here on the ice, and he's going to toss a couple of players to the skirmish in front of the net. Doesn't want this to get out of hand in the last minute 18.
Steve Richmond for the Rangers was coming right off the bench. He was going to attack number 12, Duane Sutter. And Sutter, I think, was as guilty as Richmond, but Bruce Hood making a wise decision. Both linesmen scurried over to the boards quickly so that those 2 players could not get at it, and they've set them off for the remainder of the game. 1 minute and 18 seconds remaining.
A real good move by Bruce Hood, and you see the etiquette by Duane Sutter, just waving goodbye to the visitor here on the island, Steve Richmond.
Bruce Hood made his linesmen very happy with that move because they've had a long night, and Ryan Bozak and Gerard Gauthier didn't need to break up a fight between Duane Sutter and Steve Richmond.
Well, they both go off 10-minute misconduct at 18:42. The chase for the puck. Rogers for the Rangers, but Billy Smith comes out to do the work. Rangers have outshot the Islanders 34-28 in this game.
Last minute of play in the period.
1 minute to go. Langevin. Jonsson. Gillies lets it go. Did it touch Gillies' stick? No, it didn't. So it'll be an icing against the Islanders. And with 41 seconds left, we come all the way down. And the crowd here, the Islanders satisfied, holding their breath through 2 periods of play. But the Islanders come out strong, exploding late against the Rangers. And the captain, Barry Beck, with his game face, his playoff beard starting, it's a question of how long he'll get a chance to grow that beard. The Islanders, who have eliminated the Rangers the last 3 seasons in the playoffs, with Billy Smith once again strong in goal. He is starting where he left off last year, as he won the Conn Smythe Trophy, most valuable player in the playoffs, and a strong performance, turning aside 33 of the 34 shots tonight. 30 seconds left. Islanders looking just to get it out. 20 seconds to go. Dennis Potvin. The Islanders getting no scoring out of their big guns of Bossy, Trottier, and Potvin. The youngsters took over and pulled them out here tonight. 10 seconds to go. The crowd rising, applauding the effort in game number 1 of the '84 Stanley Cup. And that is it. It is over. The Islanders open their drive for 5 with a victory over the arch-rival New York Rangers by the score of 4-1. The shots on goal in that third period, it was down to just 6-5 in favor of the Rangers. And for the game, the Rangers 34 shots on goal, the Islanders with 28. Coming up, our USA MVP, and the man that kept the Islanders in there when they were down 1-0, allowed them to explode later, Billy Smith, Islanders goaltender, our USA MVP. The final score here at the Nassau Coliseum. The New York Islanders 4, the New York Rangers 1. We'll have our postgame coming up right after this.
Well, then Pat LaFontaine gets his second. Pat Flatley draws another assist. The shots on goal were the Rangers 6-5 in the third period, and the total shots on goal were 34, 28 in favor of the Rangers over the New York Islanders. We talked about some of the kids and the way they played tonight, taking some heat off Bossy and Trottier and Gilbert, and Pat LaFontaine and Pat Flatley came up big, but behind them, backstopping them, was the guy who's been around for a few years. Billy Smith was a I think, a vintage performance for you because everyone expected it at this time of year. It is your time of year, isn't it?
Well, kind of, yeah. I like the heat, and there was a lot of it tonight, let me tell you. And you could have said one of the older guys, real old.
Oh, that's not that bad yet. I wonder, when you came into this game, how the Islanders were preparing for the playoffs. You've been around for the other preparations, and here's the drive for 5. Did you notice anything different?
Not really. We started clicking about the last 10 games of the season. Our season was so-so, but, you know, we still ended up in first place, so it wasn't all that bad. But we really started clicking at the end. Our defense started playing super, and our forwards, unbelievable the way they were coming back. And it just showed tonight in the kind of protection that they give me.
Mm-hmm. There was a time during the season, a couple of times, in fact, around the league, you'd hear, well, boy, the Islanders might be in trouble this season because Billy Smith doesn't look sharp, and they'd come into March, and, well, he's got to get ready pretty soon, and he didn't, and finally it got going. Now, while everyone was talking about that and wondering about it, what was Billy Smith thinking?
Well, let's face it, I wasn't happy with my season. Maybe it was all in my head, but, you know, when it got down to the end of March, I just started to calm down, and Al started giving me more games in a row. You know, like we did have 3 goalies, and I'd play maybe 1 every 6-7 games. So really, I couldn't get any rhythm going. And I don't really think anybody in our team had any real rhythm going until March hit. Then all of a sudden, March hit, and bang, everything came together, and we really started playing good, sound hockey.
Now, you put Pat Flatley and Pat LaFontaine in the lineup, and it brought your total up to 27 players on the roster, and I imagine that gets a lot of guys looking over their shoulder at that point. What sort of effect did these 2 kids have when they came in?
Well, let's face it, they're 2 great hockey players, and the other guys knew, and some guys knew that they were going to have a chance of taking their spot, and, you know, that's show business. You know it's going to happen. But what's unfortunate is the guys that we have sitting on the bench could step in any game and be one of the key hockey players, like Billy Carroll for our penalty killing, you know, Gordy Lane on defense. So it's the type of thing where, you know, guys don't want to sit out, but they're still keeping up the morale with the rest of the team.
Did you get the heat you expected tonight? Did this game measure up pretty well to what you expected?
Oh, yes. I thought it was a very good game. I thought the Rangers played excellent in the second period. They ended up with 16 shots on net. That's a heck of a period for them. And, you know, it was good, tight hockey until the second period. And then we got a couple of breaks, and next thing you know, they're looking at a 4-1 game. And they just couldn't seem to get her going at the end.
I would expect probably a little more of the same tomorrow night. No change there.
I don't think there'll be any change in hockey. I think you're going to be in for another great hockey game.
34 saves tonight. Nice job, Billy. Good game.
Thank you very much.
Billy Smith of the New York Islanders is our USA MVP. The Islanders looked like champs tonight as they waited for their opportunities, came back to defeat the Rangers 4-1 to take a 1-0 lead in the Patrick Division Semifinal. Jim Zrake. Our producer is Mark T. Stolberger. Our director has been Jim Edmonds. Associate producers Tim Rapley, Stephen Fetter, and Kevin Landy. And our production coordinator is Barbara Travers. This has been a sports presentation of the USA Network.
As I'm talking the playoffs, 16 of the 21 teams still alive for